Let's talk about the worst movies of the decade, which is different for everybody here. Yeah. Everybody has different taste. Now, you know I see tons of bad movies. Been doing it for decades.
You're going to keep on doing it.
Going to keep on doing it, it looks like. Even though my wife says she wants to sweep me up and take me to Turkey. But once
then you'll really see some bad movies.
Yeah, exactly. Been watching bad movies for decades, so I think I have a little bit of an authority when I say something's not the worst movie of the year, but out of the whole past 10 years. Seen a lot of them. And I've seen so many that I cannot just go in and, like I did with best movies, and just have 5. I have a long list. I'm not going to even do all of them today. I'm going to do maybe half of them, maybe slightly more than half. And some of these, you already guessed, you already know, and some of them might be a surprise. Mm-hmm. And some of them, I promise you, they're going to make you mad. You're just not going to get what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Controversial.
Maybe slightly. This is the one that's probably, we're probably already going to get off on a bad foot with this, because it's going to be very controversial. Some of y'all saying, see, I knew y'all getting paid. I knew y'all getting paid for talking shit about my boys and my girl out there. Especially since now you want to sit up here and bandwagon. You want to sit up here and talk shit about this particular movie that we're going to bring up now that everybody else has said it's bad. No, you were with it when it came out. You even went as far as, if I'm correct, this movie that you say is one of the worst of the decades, if I'm correct, you actually gave it a matinee at the time.
I can't remember. We're asking people we don't know.
Just for that trailer alone, you should give it back worst of the decade. We're talking about Justice League.
Divided. We are not enough.
Now, there's a reason why I'm picking this as worst of the decade. It doesn't even stand alone. This is sort of a consolidated category right here, because that movie's not alone the worst of the decade, but it's in a group that reserves the honor of trying to create a universe and failing miserably. My worst movies are the ones that did not. When you cannot do something let me make a clarification here. These are movies that were theatrically released. They're movies that were, they weren't on home video. Because if you do that, they were streaming. Because if you do that, you could go deep with tons of bad movies. They are major movies. They are major releases. They had, they played on the big screen for an amount of time. So that's why I'm going with this. But any movie out there that tried to create a universe, and I'm giving you an example right here of 2 of them in a little bit, but if you can't stand on your own, you really are trying to do a money grab. You're trying to copy somebody else, and you're rushing it, and you know this. And then you actually do fail miserably like Justice League did. I was still defending this movie as being an entertaining film. I really do. It's not like I'm backtracking. I actually maintained I enjoyed it. I really did. Now, we can also say guilty pleasure, whatever, but this movie failed horribly at what it was trying to do. This movie was trying to rip off, of course, the Avengers. And it's pitiful compared to what Marvel did. Yeah. It's pitiful compared to what they were doing before they even got here. When this movie finally happened, the big event film, the movie that was supposed to actually not only be the biggest film in what DC was trying to do with their latest roster of superheroes, from Batman to The Flash to Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and that black metal guy. Y'all didn't care about that dude at all. No. What's his name?
Cyborg.
Cyborg. Yeah,
that's even a lazy name, really.
It really is.
He's a cyborg,
boring.
and you just call him Cyborg. Yeah. Like, man, that's it.
Yeah, well, no confusion there. Ain't no false advertising with him.
To the point.
But not only was supposed to be this big event film, but also the one that was supposed to make the most money. This movie did worse than all of those movies that came out. It was a complete bomb.
Yep.
Well, plus they spent so much on production, there was almost no chance of it being profitable.
Yeah, everybody kept saying, just drop it. Now DC has finally dropped it, and they're doing really amazing things, I think. So it's not me having a bias. I told you, I would love them if they do some really cool things.
The thing that's disappointing, and I also throw BVS in this as well, is that this is the first time we are seeing these characters together cinematically, in a theater. And this is the best you could produce with the infinite amount of resources you have. Like, this is what you're delivering this. When you have plenty of examples of how to do something like this, it's both rushing. But the other thing that bothers me about is that you had people in charge who have a profound misunderstanding of the characters they're working with. Zack Snyder's definitely one of those people. A number of the Warner Brothers executives, but it's someone who looks at the image, who looks at that image and goes, "I like that, I can produce that," but he doesn't understand the context whatsoever. And that's what's so frustrating about it. These characters should not have been treated this way.
You keep saying that, Chris, but that Snyder cut is
that's what I'm doing, huh?
and it's going to change the world.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man.
There's no excuse.
No, it really is not an excuse. And I'm looking at when you mention this, I'm looking at movies that you have brought up too. From the beginning when we saw this movie right here, when we saw what they did and mishandled this so badly.
That kind of power is very dangerous.
It gets blown back.
This shit.
And Batman died of emphysema.
Yeah. Shit. They just running after the little girl. That bitch is dead. They had it handed to them. They had a great follow-up, a great reason for them to get together and fight each other.
Sure.
This was so mishandled, and from that point on, they learned nothing.
It's hard for me to put Justice League on the list based on your criteria, just because I thought Batman v Superman was so much worse.
It's worse.
It was just idiotic. Like Justice League is incompetently handled, whereas Batman v Superman has things in it where you're like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
What? A lot of this doesn't make sense.
Well, I would say that there's a lot of dumb things in this too. Another reason why I say this is worse is because, they could have learned from Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Batman v Superman was the point where they did it. They said, hey, look, at this point, for you to make an Avengers type event, that's kind of done. Groundwork should have been laid with this.
Yeah.
So y'all that up already. So, I don't think it's not going to have the impact.
No.
It's not going to be the same impact. Everything was working with Marvel and the Avengers. Shit was falling apart and failing.
Yeah.
It's like they were driving a car that was just dropping the shit. We gonna make it.
As long as we cross the finish line.
We gonna make it. As long as we cross the finish line.
We'll just be rolling on 2 tires.
Yeah. But we're going to a car show. We look like shit right now. In their minds, they were so sure that they were gonna make this happen and fans were going to go see this, that they didn't even make a whole movie. They put in all these visions that Batman was having and all these teases and it just didn't work. And that is why, not this movie alone. I mean, I still defend this movie as a fun superhero mash him up or whatever. I enjoyed it. I do, and I still say that. But I do have to say that no, I'm not. I recognize from the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is a failure. Because everything they led up to did not work, and it's not alone. This belongs to movies where they were also movies that were so sure of themselves. Ego was large that look, one thing I can say about DC, at least they played around with some shit.
Yeah.
They made different movies before they got there, unlike these idiots over here.
Okay, I was just gonna say.
Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
No. That world never materialized.
Yeah, when you
happened.
talking about Justice League and it killing the universe, I was like, nothing killed it like this movie.
Oh, this movie, well, like I said, at least Justice League had some shit to go by before they made some movies.
Yeah.
To give you context of what we were leading to.
Sure.
The Mummy, even worse than DC, that was a movie where it was more forced. They had nothing but an idea that they were trying to sell.
Mm-hmm.
At least it made sense for DC.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we say they ripped them off, DC. Why are you gonna sit up there and let the Avengers do a movie when you have the Justice League and you don't do that? It made perfect sense for them to do that. I don't blame them for trying to do that at all. I mean, it's the same comic book structure. Marvel has their comic book universe. DC has theirs. They should have done it. They just f***ed it up, but they should have done it. Universal had nothing.
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 There's no reason for this.
Yeah.
Oh no! You know what they had? They had a logo. Dark Universe. And what was funny is that it kind of made sense for them a little bit because they were trying to bring all the Universal monsters together.
Sure.
Yeah.
And people say they were kind of the first universe to do something.
Sure.
But not today. Not with what we have here. You know, those months, and might I say that even though they were the first universe, even they started out naturally making their own movies.
Exactly.
And after they made their own movies, that's when they start hanging out with each other and Abbott and Costello and everything.
But they were trying to crowbar this together.
They should know.
Fast track it.
Yeah.
It was, and of course, it never got off the ground because not only did critics realize it was forced, but the average audience knew.
The minute that Dark Universe logo came on the screen, audiences laughed.
People laugh. I've never seen an average audience laugh at words this hard. It was. Everybody felt like this was like a very sad excuse at trying to force something together, and where other movies kind of get a movie or two or three, this was dead on arrival, man. That is why I put that in there. And it's not alone. Like I said, these aren't standing on their own. Anything that tried to be universe and failed miserably, you got to count them out, man. There's some of the, because that is one of the worst business practices that we had this decade as far as movies go.
Thankfully, those two movies tanked that, and everybody stopped doing it.
They sure did.
They stopped real quick.
They sure did, man. Now, I think there was one more that they tried, but it kind of went out like the whole team killing each other apocalyptic thing, the way those were killed. But yeah, people.
Yeah.
Let me see here. The next thing that I have. Oh shit! Here we go. Again, a grouped category. Anything that has to do with this movie right here.
Coming to this party. And then I saw you and I thought, that's why.
Oh, you know, no, this is not a crew. I forgot about this. This how much I don't even give a shit about this film. I forgot I even had it coming up. No, this stands alone. Believe me, this is in a category all by itself.
I would argue that it should be paired with another movie.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Anything by Terrence Malick this last 10 years. Now, some people say Tree of Life, that's cool. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Night of Cups.
See, if you see Song to Song, you need to see Night of Cups.
Live from song to song, kiss to kiss.
Okay, this is a group category. A lot of this shit by Terrence Malick,
this meandering, this stream of consciousness, rich young people just living a life that doesn't actually exist.
But also self-indulgent as far as the director goes. What I really don't like about this movie is that this is one. It's one thing to make a movie that goes nowhere. That happens all the time. I see it all the time. That's fine. But it's another where you have the cast just babbling their way through it. And it's another when you give them so little direction that their performances are terrible because you don't direct them. They get to show that they cannot improvise at all. Or you just give them such shitty material to work with. Yeah, hey, just stand in this room and say some shit. You know, that's what this movie does. Terrence Malick is the director of this, and like I said, I didn't see these other movies, which is why I didn't think of those, but you saw.
Yeah, Night of Cups, man. It goes hand in hand.
But this guy does this with a lot of movies. I swear to God, he's trolling people. This man is making movies where he said, let me just do nothing and see how many of these people kiss my ass.
And people buy it, yeah.
And people buy it.
Yeah, I hate that.
Song to Song is one of those movies. And I saw it, but everybody says the same thing that you say, Martin, about this movie here.
Living the life of someone I didn't even know.
You can tell there ain't nothing going on by this trailer. Yeah. You can tell the moment he starts narrating. I walked a lonely path.
Yeah. It's just him walking in an empty city or going to different Hollywood parties. That's all it is, over and over.
What? Yeah, man, this guy.
You're the only screenwriter I know who doesn't sit behind a typewriter and actually write anything.
and people fall for it. I truly believe that this is a guy who has gotten lazy. He uses the same distracting camera work. He lets these actors just do whatever they want, where he has nothing for them, and yet these people fall for it. One of the reasons why this is also worst of the decade. And again, nothing against this director personally, but I've seen between the movie I saw recently and this, and then hearing about what you say, like, man, if it wasn't his name on there, people would talk about how meandering and shitty the performances are in this. Yep. But another reason why this is one of the worst of the decade is not even on him. It's on you motherfuckers out there because it shows how phony and pretentious these critics are who say it's art just because of the name that's attached to it. And you know this is bullshit. You know this. Quit lying. Look, you can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to us in here. You fucking self-denial motherfucker. You know this. That is why this pisses me off. I mean, I save it for movies that I think fail horribly and for movies that really just irritate me. And this takes up my time. And there's nothing going on there. Nothing. It is bad filmmaking. It is really bad filmmaking from a guy that you're talking about is doing art. Mm-hmm. It's like when a mother put some duct tape and a banana on the wall and y'all just look at it like, I'm the dude that's taking it off the wall and eating it. Number 6, we just got through number 7. Number 6, anything related to this film here.
What was he like?
He was polite, intense, smart.
Any 50 Shades bullshit. This is a so-called trilogy. And this is I don't like this because, and I think it's one of the worst of the decade because
it is.
Oh yeah,
There's
you
no
agree?
Argument, yeah.
Why you agree?
Because of, once again, it's incompetent. It's immature. So much of it doesn't make sense. The second movie is just playing for time. It's nothing but padding. And then you get to the final movie, the one where the most stuff happens, and it's really just a telenovela. Yep.
The reason why I really despise this is for several reasons. One, this just gamed everybody, man. I've never seen such horrible writing get such a big spotlight treatment as this. This pieces of terribly written fiction right here. These are all terribly written fan fiction.
Yeah, Twilight original.
Twilight. This is terribly written Twilight fan fiction. It's almost a joke.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the fact that somebody's directing this, having these actors say these lines and going, all right, cut, let's move on to the next scene. How does everybody on there, nobody steps up and goes like, I'm sorry, we're not really doing this, are we?
I've seen the guy that plays Mr. Gray. I've seen him in movies where he's good.
Exactly. Had I not seen him in other movies, I would just write him off as the worst actor alive.
Yeah, he's horrible in this. He's just there to look hot and just this chick. That's all.
And this does Dakota Johnson no favors either.
This gamed the system, man. They got y'all to pay for terribly written fan fiction. Some shit that a 14-year-old would write. Mm-hmm. It's the nasty shit that a 14-year-old girl writes and her mother or father finds like, what the is wrong with you? Damn, girl. The reason why it succeeds is because it gamed the system because you got these women out there who they read this because they want to feel edgy or this is edgy stuff for them. But it's for those women out there who are horny but are too scared to watch real porn.
Yeah.
And are even like softcore porn.
Yeah, because there's a story about a guy who talks about how kinky he is, and yet he smacks the girl in the ass a couple times, and she's like, "All right, that's it." She You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's supposed to deal with like BDSM and kinks, and it barely goes into that really. Mm-hmm. It's very surface level. It's written by someone who doesn't understand those kinks, thinks they like it, but they're like, "No, that's not how it is."
This is the thing that was that thing that was taboo for women who don't even know what the taboo really is. Mm-hmm. They don't, those are women who do missionary and dream of doing some other shit, but I don't know, God, or I wasn't raised like that, or whatever, man. But this, this is the thing that was like, they can get together, the friends, like, I was dirty last night. What'd you do? I read 50 Shades. Get the f out of here. I hear that shit. Also, this is terribly, terribly misogynistic. Mm-hmm. At a time when we're all about female power, we're all about building up the image of women, especially in entertainment, this shit came along and just kicked the stand out from under the people when it came to that. And exposed a lot of hypocrisy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All these women who are talking about how it's wrong when guys cross boundaries, how guys are weird and guys are creepy, unless they have billions of dollars.
Yeah, if they're handsome and got billions, then they can do whatever they want.
And look like this. They can even be creepy as if they have that much money and look like him.
And this guy is creepy.
And this is a guy that not only stalked a chick, wrote down everything about her without her consent, but he looked at her ass while she was asleep too. A couple times she was like, "What the f you doing?"
And every time she goes somewhere, he's calling her. "Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be drinking this."
Yeah. Where are you?
Wow.
Guy's so weird that you have to have a contract to have normal sex with him. Or at least put up some boundaries, you know? Shit, if I don't put this in writing and get this signed, you're gonna have my ass turned inside out. Yeah, this one. Ooh, yes. Wow. So many bad things. Yeah, this is another group category right here.
You're such a stallion.
All right, see.
Well, wait. With the last one, you said everything associated with the 50 Shades. This counts.
I've meant that trilogy. No, this man has a category all by himself.
It's his career
Number
this decade.
5, yeah. Any and I shouldn't even number these. I'm adding more on there. Any Marlon Wayans comedy, man, that we've had this past decade. You know, when Marlon Wayans isn't going in and doing the same race jokes or sex jokes, when he has nothing that he can actually say, he goes to the old standby just screaming.
Call 911. Tell him the dog is.
I can't. Yes, I can't. I don't want to hear that shit.
Okay, now it's been 19 years. Can we stop referring back to Requiem for a Dream as saying like, no, he can be good. You remember this? That was 2 decades ago.
Yeah, I tried, brother. I've been trying for 10 years to defend you. I've been trying for 10 years. But Martin, you know, he had a lot of range in sextuplets.
Thank you, brother.
There you go. Hey, see, same thing. Now I didn't include sextuplets because it's on Netflix. It wasn't a big major release, and also, I mean, I do give him credit for playing some different characters. Man, the movie was not that good, but I saw him like doing glimpses of some good performances, having to play all these characters. Too bad they just weren't put to better use. Yeah, we're gonna have to give up on this man.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, I can't do it no more, man.
You gave him every chance that you could have.
I gave him 10 years.
10 years. That's a lot of years, man.
This will be my last one I mentioned today. I've listed this one because it really, I can't remember much about what I didn't like about it, but I remember it hurt me.
You're the guy who saw that.
Yeah, I was the victim.
You're never gonna like the two of them together. See, ever since Step Brothers,
but
it's just never gonna be a thing for you.
Step Brothers, I will let that slide for other people, not for me.
Okay. I was gonna say what,
but I will also let it slide because it ain't this shit.
I love you. Oh, what a looker, right? She is stunning.
So you can even tell by the trailer, none of this shit is working. Every joke is falling flat, and that's one of the things that made me so mad about this. It's Holmes and Watson, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, 2 people that I actually like. John C. Reilly, I actually like a lot.
Yeah, me too.
But
it's just when they get together.
just keep the motherfuckers apart.
They bring out the worst of each other. It's like 2 chemical reactions. Like, no.
Give them a timeout, separate them. They cannot be together in the same class. You know, I can't take it. I can't.
One sit in the front, one sit in the back.
Yeah. Hey, boys, break it up. I don't remember much about this because there's not a lot that's memorable in this except the bad things. What I do remember is that every joke was painfully predictable, or they would just every joke was a setup for them to just break something, destroy something, tear up something while they bounce all across the room.
Oh my God! Stop panicking!
That's the movie. That is the movie. This is a movie that offered nothing. Now let me get to yours real quick, Martin. A lot of people, with me, I think a lot of people would be like, "Oh, come on, man, this was cute." This was
my ass.
Think about the children, especially the little girls. Think about Oprah.
You can't keep using your father's disappearance as an excuse to act out.
The ant arrives in my hand instantaneously.
Talk about a movie that not only was kind of bad, but just didn't make no goddamn sense.
Made no sense. No. Overindulgent.
Wrinkle in Time.
Wrinkle in Time. And with all the resources possible. Nothing but A-list actors throughout this thing. Mm-hmm. Oprah's money. Disney's money.
Couldn't say it, man.
And yet, we come to something that feels like it's 3 hours long, doesn't make a lot of sense, doesn't have a good flow. You get these actresses who just stand around smiling and glowing like they're just so pleased with themselves and know something you don't know. and this girl, this I don't remember her name. This should have been something that should have taken her career off, and it's just one where you're kind of like, no offense, sweetheart, but I don't want to see you ever again.
Damn. That's some hatred for your ass right there. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this either. I remember Ava DuVernay, she directed this. And when we went to go see this, we knew it was gonna be bad. When she looked at the audience, almost crying, like begging, "Y'all just go and have fun. Just be a kid all over again.
Yeah.
Really, just please, I need another job."
Yeah. Just sit down and be a kid all over again. That's code for don't think about this.
Yeah, exactly. It's a movie that thinks it can do anything because, hey, we're weird.
Yeah.
We're in a fantasy world. No,
and it's colorful.
Yeah, shit, even weirdness got to make sense sometimes. The hell out of here with that. I don't want to hear that. What about Oprah? Yeah, what about Oprah? Tell her to make a better movie next time. Getting to yours now.
Oh, okay.
All this and this. Now it's personal.
Yeah, it is.
Now it's personal.
For me, it is.
Want to tell everybody what? You know what? No. Let's
you need to show them this.
I know. I need to show them. Let's take a guess. Let's take a quick guess. It's personal. It's from the last 10 years. I'm gonna just look at the first three answers right here. What do you guys think is Christopher Juicy Herman's worst of the decade is? Just give me a quick guess right here. I want to see. Ooh, somebody got it right
nailed
immediately.
it right
Somebody
the first
immediately.
Yeah, I know.
Mauricio Loyola.
Maurice, yeah.
Maurice Loyola. He got it. He came in and guessed it the first time from the mind of M. Night Shyamalan, The Last Airbender. Yeah, this was based off of the animated show that was beloved by kids and adults.
One of the greatest animated shows ever made.
All four elements could
Yeah,
stop them.
yeah, and
But when the world needed
of
him
course,
most,
Hollywood, when they got it, they completely missed the point.
Cool. I mean, it's tons of interesting characters, and that's what I loved about it. I mean, the fact that the show came out in 2005, and like plus a decade plus later now, it's still so beloved. And so you get someone like Shyamalan to come in there and do that, and just mishandled every single aspect of it. From the fact that, like, this show was praised for its diversity, and like the first thing it does, casts all of the characters as white people, and except for the villains.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like they're the.
It was a weird thing he did where he whitewashed so many of the main characters.
Yeah.
And then race swap with the others because the show is all about these different East Asian cultures.
Yeah, South Korean, Chinese, Japanese, everything.
It's a mix of all that. And he goes, well, I'm going to make it more Asian by making them Indian.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, technically India is Asia, but
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you know what he's doing.
and
Put himself in there.
And change the pronunciation.
Oh, that's the thing.
And it's one thing if you only read Aang in a book, you go like, well, I think it could be pronounced this way. But we had 4 years of it being pronounced this way. Like, no, he's Ong.
No, it's Ong. It's Sokka. Or whatever he was. It was like,
I was showing some of the characters right here.
Yeah, I mean, those are two of the best characters in the show, Katara and Sokka, and you cast two white actors for it. And that was at a time when Hollywood's still trying to get away with that.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's the kind of thing where they wanted to make this a trilogy, and they totally set this up, much like those separate seasons, which had Aang learn a different element as he's trying to defeat the Fire Lord, who's basically the dictator of the Fire Nation. And it's like, nope, that came to nothing. All that stuff they were building towards. And the other thing about this movie too, they're trying to cram 20 episodes of a single season into a 90-minute film, maybe like hour 45. You can't do that. And to the point where they even put some of the most forgettable episodes of the series into this movie. It's like, why are you focusing on this when there's something that you can cut a lot of the fat off, sure, but you're focusing on some episodes that people like really dislike. And so I just, stuff like that just doesn't make any sense. And the fact that it looks cheap. You're doing elements, like this should have a huge budget, and like all the elements, all the CGI. I mean, it looks, you could do this in After Effects or something like that. It's terrible. And the dialogue, people just say things just to who their characters are. Yeah. Like there's a point in the movie when you have the main female character, Katara, introduce herself to Zuko. The first time they met in the film. And she's like, I'm Katara, and I'm the only a waterbender of the Southern Water Tribe. It's like, why are you telling him this? You're about to fight and kill each other.
So we can get this shit out the way.
Yeah, I guess so. But because he forgot to build this over time. So it's a terrible film. For me, this is my worst of the decade.
Wow.
I can't argue that.